I'm going to try to keep it brief. Again, we are switching over immediately our chemical records from pen and paper to a new software called Hydroapps. This software is really awesome. It's going to give some good transparency to everybody about our records. It's also going to be able to tell us when chemicals are out of range and then what to do to fix those. So it's a really great opportunity for us. I'm going to try again to make this as simple as possible. Nothing is really changing for you in terms of your chemicals and the way that you read them and everything. You're still using, the drops and the same process that you were trained on. The difference is you're just not writing it in the binder anymore. You are using this Hydroapps account. Now, we did buy a tablet for our department for this reason. That tablet and chemicals are now going to be in the guard office to the right as you enter on the shelf. That tablet's always going to be plugged in. If you ever need to unplug it or take it out, you can do that. Just make sure it's returned, and we're keeping the chemicals in the guard office as well. Okay, so on that tablet, it's going to look a little bit different than this tutorial in the setup of the software, but it's all the same elements. So when you go to log into that tablet, the pin is going to be 0000. Okay, that's also on the back of the tablet if you ever forget. Once you log into that, on the very first page of the home screen in the center, you have your Hydroapps app. So you just click on that. You can't miss it. It's the only app in the center of the screen. It'll take you to this login page. Now, we're all going to use my account for right now. My goal is to get a Universal Riverfront Guard account eventually, but my account information is set up in there. All you have to do is hit sign in. You don't have to enter passwords or anything. If that doesn't work for you, you just let me know. But you go in and you log into that account. It's going to take you to the dashboard. Now, the dashboard again is going to look a little bit different than this, but basically the important thing that you need to know is this light blue add pool test button. That's going to be at the bottom of the screen, and it's going to be that's where we're going to add our pool test records in. So let's say we go ahead and take our chemicals for the evening. Say you're the closing shift. It's going to take you to this facility page. It's going to have Riverfront YMCA, and then if you hit the main pool button, okay, it's going to show you all of the timestamps for where we should be, or time slots for where we should be taking our chemicals. So let's say we are closing and we took our chemicals already. We're ready to enter them. Okay, you're going to hit 7:45 and you're going to add in your records. Now, there's a bunch of things that you can enter here. You do not need to enter anything more than you are already doing. So we're going to walk through it. Let's say hypothetically you took your chlorine. Your free chlorine's a 3, your total chlorine's a 3, okay? It's going to give you that combined chlorine, so you no longer have to do that math. Let's say the pH is a 7.5, okay? We're going to add that in. Now, let's say, for example, the pH is like really high, and it's a 8.1, okay? Then it's going to light up red. Once you submit this, if you submit it at an 8.1, it's going to send me a notification that we have that error, and it's going to tell me what we need to do to fix that. Okay. Now, additionally, if it ever is out of range, make sure you text me as well, just to make sure that I get that information. But again, that's the nice thing about this. Okay. So let's go back and say it was 7.5. Okay. Now it's back to normal. Alkalinity, that is something that I'm going to be taking care of. If I ever ask you to test for alkalinity, you can put it in there. ORP chlorine, that is not something that you are going to be required to add in. ORP chlorine, again, that's going to be the number downstairs in the pump room on the chem control, right? So you have your pH number, and then you have the ORP. It's usually somewhere in the 700 to 800 range. If you ever go downstairs to the pump room for any reason and you make note of that number, you can put it in here as well. It's just going to be more records for us to have, okay? But you're not required to do that every shift, okay? Flow meter, UV, all that stuff you don't have to worry about. Water clarity you do, right? So let's say it's clear. That's what we're hoping for most of the time. If it's not, if it's hazy or cloudy, you can put that in there as well. TDS, you don't have to worry about that. Water temperature, you do have to worry about. Okay, so we're making sure that we're adding in that water temperature. That's not always done. So we want to make sure we do that. It's usually in that 83 to 84 range. That's where it should be stabilized at. If it's ever not, then it's important that we know that so we can fix it. Again, the thermometer for that is in the deep end, attached to the ladder on the side of the pool nearest the guard chair. All right, you don't have to worry about any of this. At the end, you're going to add in your initials, so we'll say Will or WT. Don't have to worry about any of this. Now, the last thing is if you need to add any chemicals throughout the day or throughout your shift. So say you need to shock the pool because somebody threw up, or you need to add acid to the pool. That's where you're going to include that information. Okay, so let's say you did have to shock the pool, so you're going to say you added liquid chlorine 1 gallon, and then put approximately what time you put it into. So let's say 5 p.m. Okay, last thing you have to do is just hit save and exit. All right, then once you do that, you are good to go. If you get to a point where this doesn't work for you, you have any issues whatsoever, you can't log in, the tablet doesn't work, still take the chemicals, text me the chemical records, right, the chlorines total combined, and so on, free. Text me the pH number, text me the water clarity and the pool temperature. Okay, and I will retroactively put that information into the software once we get it fixed. Again, we are just starting to use this, so if there's any kinks, we're going to try to work those out. But again, I need your feedback on that to know if there are any kinks. All right, I appreciate you guys being willing to make this change. I hope that this is going to be something that's simple for us to use moving forward and ultimately make our lives easier. If you have any questions about this, make sure you ask. Don't ever just not take the chemicals and just say, oh, it's somebody else's problem. No, if you're working a shift, you should be doing the chemicals at least once during that shift. Or if you're working with more than one, or if you're working with more than 2 people, you should make sure that somebody is doing those chemicals during the shift. Okay, it usually should be the most senior guard on staff that is working at that time. Okay, again, any questions, let me know, but I appreciate you watching. Thank you.